Hey, welcome to the channel, all about the blues harmonica. So if you haven't already, thumbs up and subscribe. Something for intermediate and advanced players today, maybe for people starting out in the first year or two. Curiosity gets the better of you, stick with it. We're going to be looking today at something that should be incorporated in modern blues. I don't see it, I do it, because I've come from a different world before, but I don't hear any harmonica players doing it, certainly not in the blues sense. And in the modern blues development, you should be doing it. Okay, so today I'm going to be looking at diminished arpeggios. Something that I use as a modern jazz saxophonist for all my playing career, really. I preferred it, with the first port of call, I preferred it to +9 to play flat 9 on an awful lot of stuff, and a lot of intricate stuff that we simply don't do in blues. But there's some fundamental little principles that we can etch into our playing as blues players to make us better players and to make things more interesting rather than same old, yeah? So we're going to be looking at the diminished arpeggios, and you recognize them because if you listen to, or if you've ever listened to classical music, they're instantaneously recognizable. You'll hear them in all the greats, you know, Beethoven, Bach, Mendelssohn, you know, Mozart, the lot. We use them in jazz all the time, of course, and yeah, it's used in blues, and it can be used in blues. I never hear it on this thing. So this is what we're going to do today. Diminished arpeggios have a distinct sound. One based on C, one based on C sharp, one based on D. Alright, so just listen. Here's one on C. Alright, I'm using a marine band here, the greatest ever harmonica in my opinion. I was using a gold melody, but I've just blown it, and I've repaired it a number of times as I blew stuff, and I made it go for an extra 15 to 18 months. Finally retired it about half an hour ago, so, oh, okay, I've got a marine band. For me, the basic marine band, the finest harmonica to date on the market. Okay, each to their own. Alright. So that was one based on C. Second one is based on C sharp. And one based on D. Alright. Now, there's 12, but you only have to learn 3. Because there's 4 in each, 4, 8, 12. In other words, if you play the C one that is got C, E flat, F sharp and A in it, alright, if you want to play the E flat one, then it's the C one. If you want to play the F sharp one, it's the C one. If you want to play the A one, it's the C one, yeah? So you only need 3 for each one. So with the C sharp one, obviously you can play it on C sharp, play it on G, on B flat and E, and the 4 notes to the left make up the last segment of it, which is D, F, G sharp, B, D. Alright, there's your 12 notes. For people who are a little bit more technical minded, not that it matters, or it may matter to you, they're a minor third apart. So just imagine your blues scale in second position in a C harp. First 2 intervals there. Do 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 do. That's a minor third. But each one of these intervals is a minor third apart. Alright? Now, the question is, where do we place it and how does it work? Now, if we were playing jazz, for example, and I was a jazz saxophonist for 30 years and used these at very complex levels, if you saw a chord with a circle above it, you would play that particular diminished. We don't do that here. What we're doing is diminished arpeggios fit perfectly over any dominant chord. Alright? Over any dominant chord. And one of the ways that you'll hear a rhythm section or a jazzier one in blues do it, probably the out and out blues players won't do it, which is good, but it's horses for courses, because jazz blues is a lot more complex in its harmony running through the basic changes. But you'll hear it going, say if we were going from C to a D chord, you might hear a slight just chromatic connection to it. Alright, you hear it. What I'm going to do now, I'll just play you something as if I'm playing in, I'll play in second position. And I'll play just through the basic blues bit, alright, and I will put you a diminished arpeggio in to show how it links going to the 4 chord. Lots of ideas you can use. This is just one idea, one very simple idea, alright. So, here we go. Same position, I'm in G. So there I was using, as I'm playing in the 1 chord, I'm using the diminished arpeggio as a link to get to the 4 chord. I played it very basic, dead straight. I wouldn't really play it that dead straight, just so you could try and hear it, okay? Now, there are 3 diminished arpeggios. You can play them over any dominant chord. It'll work over any dominant chord, but you have to be a half step up. So in this case I was playing in G, second position, 1 chord. So when I move, you go half step up without going into tons of jazz theory or anything. Forget all that, just listen at this. Move a half step. So you're now in A flat or G sharp, aren't you? So which one of those 3 diminished arpeggios has got the G sharp in it? Well, it's the D one, because we go G sharp, B, D, F. Alright, back to G sharp. Alright. And in fact, if you can't get to be able to play the others and you can't do overblows yet, then while you're progressing, use that one. Do your workout with that one and then progress. You'll find with one of the others you can do it without using overblows, depending on where you're going to play it on the harp. Eventually you'll play the 3 of them, okay? Now, so that's one of the places where you can displace it, but it'll work over any dominant chord. You can predominantly play in it or not, okay? So, all we need to know is there's 3 of them, one based on C, one based on C sharp and one based on D. Remember, if you're playing over something in D and you want to use it, you move up a half step, puts you into E flat or D sharp. Which one of those 3 has got E flat in it? Well, it's the C one, which is the C, E flat, F sharp, A, C. That is the one that you use. Okay, if I've got time, I'll go and get my other speaker and just mic up quickly to give you an application. There are many hundreds of ways of playing these diminished. This is just a very basic idea for you. In the jazz sense, the chords are a lot more complex. We do a lot more with it, and we have flat 9 and plus 9, and I made a career more out of flat 9 than plus 9 in jazz. But jazz players will know what I'm talking about there. But as far as this is concerned, this is something that you can develop as a blues player, and you can be learning this from year 1 and 2, because let's face it, at least if you just learn 1, we'll say the one based on D, alright, got a couple of bends in there, but the rest is all straight. So let's face it, you only need to know 1 at this stage, and you can get by, and then you can utilise it. So let's take this one based on D. So you'd be going, so 4 draw, 5 draw, 6 draw all the way down, 7 draw, 8 draw, which is in musical speak on the C harmonica, 4 draw, 5 draw, excuse me, sorry, D, F, G sharp, B, D. That's your D1. D, F, G sharp, B, D. Alright? And any of those fit over any of those 4 keynotes. Alright? You can have an awful lot of fun with that. Okay. Alright, so there's some advanced tips for people. And people in the first couple of years should employ this. You'll have a lot of scope. Alright, so you get me for lessons on Harpo the Healer Weeks. As always, I'll catch you on the rebound.